you constantly want to be affirmed with, am I doing this right? Am I just doing this right? Because when you're at home, there's someone really looking up to you. I think the baby does that, where you realize that there's someone really looking up to me. I can't disappoint her. And at some point you become afraid of failing, which I can't fail this human being.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Mommy Wellness Club. If you are new to the channel, please remember to hit the subscribe button. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you all. So today I have with me a first-time mom and an incredible violinist. She goes by the name of Lillian Malindi, aka Queen Lily, and she's here to talk about being a first-time mom and how she's navigating motherhood. Lily?
Hey Posh, hey guys at home.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to be here. I've been thinking about it and I was thinking, oh my goodness, I can't wait to have this chat with you and also engage with our moms out there.
You were one of the moms I reached out to and I was like, hey, how is it going?
Yes.
You know, and I remember back then we were seeing a bit of, flames. And we were settling into motherhood.
Yeah.
But and I'm glad that you became part of that community of moms. But how are you doing?
I'm good. I can finally say I'm good.
That's
It's been ups and downs, being a mom and having to learn to transition from just being Lily to being someone's mom.
Yeah.
So it's been a journey, but I think I'm at a point where I can safely say I'm good.
You're good. Do you still feel like you are learning the ropes?
Of course. I still am. It's 2 years of experience, but listen, these 2 years are different from infancy and to seeing my baby become a toddler. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in. I need to adjust. Sometimes you see your baby doing something different and you're like, oh my goodness, how do I react to this?
Yeah.
So it's a learning curve.
And I read somewhere that we don't call them the terrible twos now. They're the incredible twos.
Oh yes.
We are speaking of
twos.
incredible twos.
Positive affirmations.
Positive affirmations. So I like that. So Lily, let's check it back to your pregnancy.
Yeah.
I want to know, how was your pregnancy like?
I enjoyed it.
Is it?
Yeah, I know a lot of people would say, oh, my pregnancy was not so nice, but I really enjoyed it. My first trimester was not bliss because I had morning sickness.
Yeah,
and you know how it goes. Fatigue and being tired. But one thing that I did even before falling pregnant, when you're trying to conceive and you start planning everything, I started intentionally working out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. I did the same, by the way. With both pregnancies, actually. Yeah.
So I started working out and tracking everything that needs to be tracked until we obviously conceived. And then from the first trimester, I continued with the exercises. And what I would do is ask my midwife if I'm still fit to continue with workouts,
Yeah.
And second trimester, I really enjoyed it. I think that was the peak for me, and that's when the cravings started.
Okay. The weird, crazy cravings.
Exactly. And the third trimester, I got really tired, but I had to push. So I used to still work out like an hour or an hour and a half, max 2 hours.
Wow, really?
I'd include walking in between.
Nice.
So I had a safe and healthy pregnancy.
And then now, that trimester comes and then you give birth. How was your birthing experience like?
It was painful.
Is it? Yeah?
It was painful. So, it's easy to prepare for pregnancy because we would go onto those apps and look up how big the baby is, what to expect when you give birth. I think I was very prepared. I worked out, I did all these things, but I was never prepared for birth.
Yeah.
For the pain that was coming, obviously. Actually, we went for a midwife appointment, an appointment with my midwife a day before the due date.
Okay.
And she checked, everything was fine. She said to me, listen, I'm going to do a sweep. She didn't tell me what that was.
Yeah, that membrane sweep.
Right?
Yeah.
She did that most painful thing.
Yeah.
And then she said to me, if I don't see you tonight, I'll see you tomorrow. I didn't know what she meant by that. But she obviously knew that it was going to happen sooner. Then from the appointment, we went to the mall. And then I started feeling cramps. And I thought,
same day. Okay.
Same day. And, I could feel these slight cramps. And I'm like, no, I'm used to this. She's coming tomorrow, not today. And then as we were walking throughout the mall with my husband. They started really intensifying.
Okay.
And I would stop. Right there. And I would stop and say, you know what, I think I'm in labor. And he starts panicking. He's like, so soon.
We just saw a midwife now.
And we started walking a bit slowly, you know, just to get some things done. And then we thought, you know what, it's safe for us to go home now.
Yeah.
We went home. I remember texting my midwife and I said to her, I've got pains. I'm not sure if it's labor yet. And she said, just time them. Just see how far apart they are. And she gave me some guidance. Fast forward, midnight, we drove to the hospital.
And were they still the same intensity?
They were very painful.
Is it?
Yeah. I got to the hospital and I was in so much pain. I've never felt so much pain in my entire life. You know, at some point I was squeezing my husband's hand. It was
almost
bad.
wanting to break it. I know that. I'm kidding.
And then the midwife said to me, no, get into the bath just to try and to calm me down. And one thing I appreciated the most, my midwife is a prayerful woman, you know, and we prayed throughout the process. We were just praying. And she would obviously check how many centimeters and all, and I was 7 centimeters when we got to.
Okay, that's good. So you labored most of it at home. Yeah.
And then I opted to not take epidural.
Okay. Yep.
And
you wanted it all natural?
I wanted it all natural because I thought, you know what, I can do this.
But you're already like 7 centimeters dilated, so I'm sure by
but
then
she did give me some pain medication.
Okay.
So, and then it was time to push. Daddy was very scared, I must say. You know, I think the scariest thing for him was not knowing how to take away the pain from me because he's never seen me in that much pain.
Yeah.
I can see he wants to help. At some point, he played worship music for me, my favorite songs.
I had a playlist with my first born child, and I thought I was gonna play it. Let me tell you, when I got there, I was like, I don't want anything. For me, I wanted silence. I didn't want him to talk to me. Whenever he's like, I'm like,
quiet.
So for you, did it work? Did the music work?
Partly.
Okay.
Partly, because it managed to make me calm and just to internalize the pain. So yeah, at 7:27, she came to the end. Yeah, that's the most beautiful thing.
Well, fast forward to now, with your 2-year-old, how's motherhood been like for you? Like, what drastic changes have you gone through? You know, there's the Lily before the child and Lily now.
I think the biggest thing, if you know, for every woman, it's the weight gain. You know,
I don't know what weight gain she's talking about, but it's okay.
That's one of the first changes I picked up. You know, because you no longer the same size you used to be before pregnancy. Yeah. And I had to find myself in a way. Yeah. You know, I would look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, ooh, okay, this is a new Lily. I'm used to myself being Lily, Queen Lily, the violinist, you know, the wife. But now I had to be the mom.
The mom.
And it took out a lot, you know, in me. I had to learn to be patient, to learn to be alert, you know, because now I've got someone that I'm responsible for. So I think it made me more patient even. Okay. Yeah, as a mom, you need patience, you know.
Lots of it.
Yeah, it made me very patient, made me to be a little more organized than I used to be. I always thought I'm a planner, I'm organized, but having a baby, it made me actually excel in that.
Is it? Yeah. It wasn't the opposite.
No, it wasn't the opposite.
I feel like I slept a bit.
No, but days are not the same. That's the thing. I think the other thing is being too critical because I used to be too critical of myself. Am I doing this right? Is this how moms are supposed to do things? But I had to just learn and find it and find my way through it.
You detailed your birth experience. You know, there's a huge transition with you being pregnant, giving birth, adjusting to being a mom, you know, after having a roller coaster of hormonal changes, and here you are responsible for a human being. I know a lot of moms, we don't like, or maybe we don't like talking about it, maybe, or we don't talk about it, or we do in our secret space, you know, the loss of self. Do you feel like at some point after giving birth there was a sense of loss of self, you know, to some extent?
Yeah.
Is it?
I'd say that. I mean, we were talking about this just before the session. I felt a bit overwhelmed.
Yeah.
You know, I felt like I would always try and go back to who I was before having a baby.
Yeah.
And it was tough.
Yeah.
I really couldn't do that. So I sometimes found myself grieving with you. So I need to now find this new person that I'm supposed to become, or am I already this person? It was a challenging period. And I would sometimes talk to my husband, and I would understand that he doesn't really get it that much, you know.
Let me tell you. Many they my husbands, bless them, Lord. You know, they're incredible. But obviously, there's certain things that they can't really relate with.
That's true.
I think my husband, sorry to interject, my husband got to a point where he's like, you know what, how about you go ask other mothers? Because here I don't have the answers. I don't know. Like, and he'd listen, and you'd see that shame. Like, he really wants to help. He's like, you know what? How about you reach out to other moms? I think that's also part of the reason why this got started. You know, because I'm like, Shem, I didn't want to burden him too much.
I think it becomes an internal struggle, and you ask yourself, Wuti, are there other moms out there who are going through the same thing I'm going through? Because I remember after 6 months, I went back to work.
6 months after giving birth, okay.
After 6 months, and I felt like I didn't know what I was doing. You know, at work.
Okay.
I felt like it was a new job, you know, and I felt like only now I need to start and navigate back to myself. I don't know if that makes sense. You know, before baby, I was working, I knew how to do things, being a leader in the workplace. And now after baby, everything I do, it's like I second guess myself. Would the old Lily have done it this way? Is this how it's supposed to be? I had to, I constantly compared myself with the old Lily who didn't have a baby. And I think it's more of a mental transition than anything. I know I mentioned the weight gain earlier, but it's nothing compared to the mental aspect of it. Where you constantly want to be affirmed with, am I doing this right? You know, am I just doing this right? Because when you're at home, there's someone really looking up to you. And I think the baby does that, where you realize that there's someone really looking up to me. I can't disappoint her. And at some point, you become afraid of failing, which I can't fail this human being. Then it transitions into everything else. I can't afford to fail. Am I doing this right? Am I working the way I'm supposed to? But I had mom to talk to as well, so that really helped me out.
It did, yeah.
And hearing you guys go through the same thing, I mean, it made me realize that I wasn't crazy.
You're not the only one.
I was not the only one.
On that note, how important is community for you?
It's very important, and I realize it now more than after I gave birth, because I gave birth during COVID.
That was another layer, guys. That was another layer.
But my mom was there after I gave birth, just to help me for the first month. Like, she was there every day for a month, and I really appreciate that, because
shout out to mom.
The sleepless nights. There were days where I wouldn't sleep because you're told that you sleep when baby sleeps, but when baby sleeps, there's a lot that needs to be done.
But how practical is that?
It's not practical.
I've always said it, but it never worked for me. It never worked for me.
And I remember the first day when mom went back home, I panicked. I panicked. I was there. My husband was working. I was there all alone, and I'm like, how am I going to take care of this baby alone? I felt so alone, but I would call her. I remember there's a day where Mbali had just fed, and she was gasping for air, and I panicked. I called her, please come now. You know, please come now. I need you to come through now. And my mom became that community for me. But there were obviously times where I was alone. And I would ask myself, I felt a void, to be honest. You know, I wanted to communicate with people who have babies, people who would know what I'm going through. And thank God I found Mommy Wellness. You know, I really appreciate that, because sometimes even when you were to go to church, it's not the same as
before having kids.
Now all of a sudden I need to be in a feeding room, a baby feeding.
parents' room.
Yeah, and you're sitting there, you can't even enjoy the service because we enjoy worship. After worship, baby wants to feed. You need to just move and go to the mother's room. So yeah, I think community is very important. It gives you a sense of belonging. That's what it did to me. It gave me a sense of belonging, assured me that I'm doing something right, and it helped me with the journey to self-rediscovery, if I may put it like that.
You mentioned giving birth during a pandemic, which is what also I went through. And for me, when you're saying that, I'm listening to you, I'm like, it was very important for me to speak to first-time moms. I don't know if it makes sense. And someone would be like, why would you want to speak to first-time moms who gave birth during a pandemic? For me, I felt like those were the people who could really understand, because people who've had kids pre the pandemic, yes, they did go through their own set of challenges, but it was different because I feel like the isolation of the pandemic added another layer of stress and maybe anxiety that maybe not many people would be able to relate with. And I know for me, it really assured me as well. And, it put me at ease.
And when things happen, you can just quickly send a text. Hey, how do I navigate this one?
Yeah. I mean, we obviously cannot go back to who we used to be before becoming mothers, right?
Yes.
So I want to know, for you, have you embraced the new Lily?
Yeah.
Have you?
I think I have.
Okay.
I think I have. I've come to a point to where I'm now able to, prioritize myself, go back to what I loved doing, because I found that in the early stages, it was all about taking care of the baby, taking care of the house, and I sort of put my interests and my passions on the side, and I think also in a journey towards rediscovering myself. And when I picked up my violin for the first time after a while and started playing, then I realized that, what, I love this.
And you still got it,
right? And I realized that, what, actually, I'm still me.
In terms of expectations you had prior to being a mom, is there something that surprised you compared to the expectations you had before you became a mom?
Yeah.
Can you share some of those things? What surprised you the most?
I think I've always been told that the first year is the most difficult, or the first 6 months the most difficult, with sleepless nights. My baby still wakes up.
She's still today.
She's two. She still wakes up and says, "Nganga, mama, nganga."
And that wasn't on your list, like, oh, 2 years. Yeah.
Thought we wouldn't be doing this at this stage. I think that's one of the biggest shockers for me, and someone needing me 24/7. Yeah, I never knew that I would never have privacy. You go to the bathroom, she's there.
Mommy.
Yeah, mommy. But when daddy goes to the bathroom, it's fine.
How come they have it nicer? They have it a bit easy.
They do. They do. So I think that's the main two things I can highlight.
What would you say are some of the challenges that you've experienced being a first-time mom who's still, fairly new, navigating the motherhood journey?
I think it's always a question of, am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? Should I do it the way my mom used to do it? Should I do it the way the articles I've read say it needs to be done? I think at the back of my head when I do something, I always ask myself, is it right? Am I doing it the right way? So the challenge has been trying to find my voice as a mom, apart from all the other voices I've heard or read, or when you're at your baby shower and the moms are giving you advice. You pick up a few things here and there. And then when it's you and the baby in the house, you realize that I have to do it my way. There is a prescribed way that people will tell you about, or articles or books, which is good to read books, but I need to find my own way to mother this baby.
And what is the most beautiful thing that you love about being a mom?
Having someone to go back home to who will just say, "Mommy, huggy." Experiencing pure love. My daughter taught me unconditional love, and I love the way she loves me. I love the way she forgives. Babies are so forgiving. You would do something now or just reprimand her for doing something, and then she's just forgotten about it. And I'm like, can I be like this with God, please? you know,
To be childlike, yeah.
To be childlike, where when I've done something wrong, I've made a mistake, and I can just quickly, you know, learn from it and move on.
And say she bumps into this video someday when she's like 20, and you know, you want to say something that would, you know, grace her through her life and, you know, pave a way for her, something that would stick. You know, what would you say to her?
Bali, my baby, I want you to know that you are deeply loved. You are loved by mommy and daddy. You are loved by God, and you need to know that you've got all it takes within you to succeed. I think that's the best thing that I want you to take away. You've got everything within you. God has placed every power, every skill that you need to succeed in this life. We love you.
Oh, Bali, girl. It's been such a pleasure, Lily, chatting to you, our violinist. You know, please look out for Lily. She's about to do amazing things. She's an incredible violinist, and I know you say motherhood, you know, what took a priority, and now you're getting back into that space of, you know, pursuing your passion for playing the violin. And I wish you all the best with your motherhood journey.
I enjoyed every moment.
Yes. Okay, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Please remember to share this video, like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, from me and Lily, bye.